Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. Today I'm going to do a topical video, but today's topic will be more about talking about the background of the character and giving a little bit of that, and then showing a bunch of books that the character's been in. Because if I was to take every book and give a synopsis or even a quick overview of the books, we'd be here for a long time, and I don't want to keep everybody for 40-50 minutes at a time anymore, as much as possible. Although on the live stream it's a different story, but let's keep these videos reasonably short, shall we? Before I get into today's topic, I want to thank everybody who took the time to vote in the Comic Book Community Awards. By the airing of this video, the voting has closed, and I don't think the winners have been revealed yet, based on when this video comes out. But the voting is done, and I want to take a moment to thank everybody who's taken the time to go ahead and pick their favorites and send in a vote. I know that Brian LCS and a bunch of other people who are involved. I've worked very hard on this, and it is nice to see that they can get so many people involved and going in with them to take advantage of this sort of thing and let people know who they like and what they think is a great thing for who's their favorites, who's their best. And the best part about this whole thing is that a whole whack load of people like myself get introduced to a bunch of channels they didn't know about before. In particular, I checked out people who were up against me in the awards, and I ended up subscribing to just about all of them. Yeah, the other ones I was already subscribed to. So I feel privileged to have gotten to go up against such good channels, and I wish them luck as well. And again, the other thing I wanted to say before was a couple of quick shout outs. One is to Bellyzard. I hope he is making some fun content up in Edmonton. He is vastly undersubscribed. You need to check him out and go give him a look and a sub. That's Bellyzard over Belize, no, IZARD, I believe. I'll have the link in the description. Also, I want to point out that Mr. E, the Low Grade King, is doing a lot of fun stuff. He's doing a Star Wars series. He calls it his Journey in the Force or something to that effect. Check him out. I'm going to put his link in the description as well. Mr. E, I've had the privilege of having him on the channel. He's got a lot of good books, a lot of books that I have not seen before, and these are Bronze Age and Silver Age books and some Golden Age that I really have never gotten to look at. So check him out, Shane at Mr. E, the Low Grade King. Now, to today's topic. I think I've yammered on enough here. This is going to be about my favorite Marvel character, the son of Satan. Someone that I've always thought was fascinating. I've always been into, especially with the horror movies, I've been more into the demon and the devil stuff than I have been into monsters per se. Maybe it's because of the religious aspect. I've always been fascinated by Catholicism and what's behind it. And usually the other side of Catholicism is demonology, right? If you go by the, here's God, here's Satan, and so forth and so forth. So I've always found that very fascinating, and I've done a lot of reading to that effect. So when I was in my early teens, I discovered this character while I was reading The Defenders and really got into him. And I'm at the point now where I was able to put together a decent little collection of the Son of Satan's appearances. So I'm going to show you a bunch of them after I give you a bit synopsis about the character. Son of Satan's real name, Damion Hellstrom, made his first appearance in Ghost Rider 1 in September of 1973. He was created by Roy Thomas, Herb Trimpe, and Greg Friedrich. The character's conception was based on the fact that with horror making a bit of a comeback in the early 70s in the Bronze Age, Marvel thought a character based on Satan would do well because everything else, werewolves, Frankenstein, vampires, ghosts, etc., were all coming back. And they thought, well, here's a topic that nobody's doing. There's a reason for it. This is getting into some serious, religious overtones here. There was a serious controversy when this character was created, and Marvel got a lot of letters from churchgoers saying, "Hey, we need you to cancel this series. This is bad. This is no good." And a lot of it is because of the controversies that it brings up, which I'll get into slightly later, more detail later. There was also a controversy with his conception and who made it, because Roy Thomas is considered a creator, but according to Greg Friedrich, it was just him who came up with the concept, and he got Herb Trimpe to draw it. Thus, as far as he's concerned, they're the only creators. But Roy Thomas has said, as editor, I added this and I did this, so I'm a co-creator too. And again, it seems to have a bit of controversy. I've noticed that a lot with Roy Thomas stuff lately, especially in situations where the other creators like Trimpe have passed on. So Damion Hellstrom took over Marvel Spotlight from issues 12 to 24, and that was October 1973 to October 1975. This was after his first two appearances in Ghost Rider, where he made his first appearance in 1 and his first full appearance in Ghost Rider 2. The stories did raise serious controversy because they were afraid that they were glorifying Satanism and Wicca, the Wiccan religion, in the title. Which honestly, if people were paying more attention to the book, they would realize that it's comics. It doesn't get into much detail and stuff. It's literally just trying to sell comics. Sales were very strong with Marvel Spotlight, so they decided to give the Son of Satan his own title. That title, however, waned and lasted only 8 issues, and the 8th issue is literally filled with filler stuff that was supposed to go into Marvel Spotlight and then was pulled and never made it to Son of Satan in the first place. Hellstrom also ended up a member of the Defenders because Steve Gerber, who was writing the Marvel Spotlight stories at the time, decided to bring him over because he was also writing the Defenders and thought, hey, I might as well give this character a little more exposure, because then maybe my books will sell even more. Damien's story as the character from the 70s that we're all familiar with, ends in Defenders 120 and 121, where he finally discovers himself, purges himself, and declares himself ready to marry his girlfriend, who was Patsy Walker. Most people here know who Patsy Walker is, the Hellcat, and of course the model that from the Golden Age. A bit of background to the character itself in the book. Damion was born in Greentown, Massachusetts. It's not a real town. I looked. He is the son of Satan, I said the title, and Victoria Wingate. Victoria went insane when she found out who the father of her children were. He was trained in the dark arts by his father with his sister Satania. Satania embraced the darkness, where Damion embraced his humanity. The kids were separated when their father was banished back to hell, and Damion grew up in a Jesuit seminary that was also an orphanage. He grew up to become a professor of anthology at St. Louis University. Anthropology, not anthology. I'm a professor of anthology books. A professor of anthropology at St. Louis University. And set himself up also as an occult investigator. His powers are virtually unlimited in hell. He possesses the supernatural powers from his possession of something called the Dark Soul, which is his demonic half, and it physically manifests itself in the pentagram-shaped birthmark that is on his belly and his chest. Quest, take your pick. He has superhuman strength, even when he's not the son of Satan, and the ability to project soul fire and make fire come out of his fingertips. By forming the shape of a trident with his hands, his costume and trident appear. So he doesn't even have to go into a phone booth to change. He literally just has to make the gesture. He can also heal at will and project fire at will. Oh, I put that twice. What do you know? He is also an expert demonologist and theologist from his background and studies. He also had a series in 1993, which is the only other series he ever had, which was actually called Hellstorm, Prince of Lies. And in that book, he changed his name from Hellstrom to Hellstorm. And Patsy was in the book. And eventually they end up divorced. But Damion, as a character, has only made sporadic appearances since this time, which is kind of sad because I'd like to see him in more. And like he'll be there for an issue or two, helping out people, especially in the Doctor Strange type universe, and on occasion the Avengers. But they're there. Now let's get into the fun part, the part you're really here for: covers. The covers I have here, I have Ghost Rider 2, which is his first full appearance. Unfortunately, it's not a cover appearance. Yes, this is a British version. It's still cool to have. I always thought, as long as the books are the same, I don't care which version they are. Next up, I'm going to show you the run of Marvel Spotlight that had the Son of Satan. The first one, number 12, was his first cover appearance. And around 15, I believe, was when he started showing up in the Defenders. I do not have any of the Defenders ones today. I am going to be showing all the Marvel Spotlights and all the books from the Son of Satan series. Those I have. I was very happy to put this together. Recently, I got the last ones. This is number 12. I got the last ones I needed. So that was sort of the impetus for building this video. Now, rather than years ago, or months ago. This is a great shot. This gives the first real best shot. Although you can see it on the other one, this gives a great shot of the birthmark. Number 14, by this point, he's sort of dating and working with his girlfriend at the time. That's another thing Son of Satan had, was issues with relationships. He never could quite get into them because of his nature. Here's issue 15. Everywhere he goes, these demons just follow him. Issue 16. '17, where he's protecting a bunch of people. 18, where he starts working with a co-worker who is really into the occult, and she's Wiccan, and eventually they end up together. Number 19 is a good shot of the trident. 20, 21, 22, 23, and the final issue, 24. Marvel Spotlight, of course, continued as a series, but the Son of Satan was no longer the main character because he got his own title. Here's Son of Satan 1. Number 2. This was the beginning of this period where he started having conflicts with his Dark Soul, and a lot of the covers will reflect that. And certainly in the Defenders, he has a lot of issues, but Patsy helps him through it. This is issue 3. Issue 4, probably one of my favorite covers. Issue 5. Issue 6. Anybody guess what's coming next? That's right, issue 7. Congratulations, I can count. Number 8, the final book I'm going to show, and the final book of the Son of Satan series. As I said, this was made sort of last minute throw together just to use up some material they had. But you know what? For a thrown together book, this is actually a pretty good one, and I recommend this story to everybody. It's a great story against. I mean, the snake demon thing has been overdone, but face it, people have a natural fear of snakes. They have a natural fear of the unknown and the supernatural. They get combined quite easily as a result. You may not know this, by the way. I used to do a blog about 7, 8 years ago, and one of my blog entries, one of the ones that was actually read the most, was on the Son of Satan. And I have liked this character for a very, very long time. And as I've said before online, where Mike Lunch Money Comics talks about how he likes the occult from DC, I like the occult characters from Marvel the best, except maybe the Fantastic Four. The Thing and Invisible Woman are pretty cool. So, and that is one of the reasons why I like the Son of Satan so much. If you like what I've done here, please like, comment, subscribe below. I particularly am interested in your thoughts on the character, and if you think Marvel went too far bringing in the supernatural as they did. In 1973, this was considered groundbreaking because not only did you have this, but you had the movie The Omen coming out in 75, and there was a serious fear about satanic worship at that time because it was getting sensationalized in the news and made to be bigger than it was. And so this is the type of thing that scared a lot of people. And so in the end, I think it actually hurt the sales of the book a little much. I think it was great that they carried the character on in the Defenders for a little while. And it was a character that actually felt like it had a story ending. It was good at the time because he was able to marry, as I said, he married Patsy Walker, New Defenders 125, which I also have. I also have the 120 and 121 that they're great, great Son of Satan covers, and I should have pulled them for this, but I have shown them before in other videos. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.